What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Team to Beat Miami Heat podcast, your one-stop shop for daily Miami Heat content. My name is Amir. Doing a quick live episode. Want to talk about a few different topics today. There's no game, so I figure why not hop on. Terry Rozier is the number one guy I want to talk about because he was atrocious last night. Like, I can't stand him anymore. And got to talk about Spo, obviously. Like, folks have been complaining about Spo online on Twitter, here on YouTube, and other places, just talking about how bad of a season he's having. So we'll get into that a little bit later. We can talk about Bam Adebayo too. He's been playing really well of late. Last night, obviously, played amazing against the Cavs, the best team in the Eastern Conference, maybe the second or third best team in the NBA. I don't know, but it was a rough game last night, and that was because of Terry Rozier. So the Miami Heat, what do they lose? 107 to 112 to the Cleveland Cavaliers in Cleveland. The Heat are still seventh in the East somehow at 29 and 32. That's how bad the East is right now, that the seventh and eighth seeds are below 500. And the Miami Heat could be in a better position, even though this season has been quite a shit show, obviously. Like, it's been a rough season for the Miami Heat, obviously, with the Jimmy Butler saga and integrating new players into the rotation. Bam starting off really slow and in a big slump, which we didn't expect. And then Jaime Jaquez just in that sophomore slump, falling off a cliff. And then Niko Jovic now out for the season. There's been a lot that the Heat have had to deal with, and Spo as well. But again, the biggest thing right now is Terry Rozier is just, he's so bad right now. And I don't know why Spo is giving him the longest leash, what seems like, in the NBA. Like, if Terry Rozier was on any other team, I can't see any other head coach giving him this many opportunities like Eric Spoelstra. Like, I don't know what his infatuation is with him. He's played 53 games. We had a glimpse of not having Terry Rozier on this roster last week or 2 weeks ago where he got 2 DMPs. The Heat still lost those games, so we can't blame the overall struggles of the Miami Heat based on Terry Rozier's play this season, but he's a big part of that. And I'm not a fan. He played 40 minutes last night against the Cavaliers. So first, kudos to the Miami Heat for their effort. They went toe-to-toe with, again, the best team in the East for 4 quarters, and they did shit the bed in the final 5 minutes of the game, like they always typically do. But they had a built-in excuse. Like, 5 players are out, including 3 starters. Davion Mitchell just came back off of an injury, so that was good to have him in there. But Kel'el Ware has missed multiple games now, and he was out as our starting center. Andrew Wiggins. What happened to Andrew Wiggins, dude? Like, when did he twist his ankle? How bad did he twist his ankle? He's already missed, what, 3 games, 4 games now from this ankle injury? Like, come on, dude. But either way, we didn't have him at our small forward position. And we also didn't have Tyler Hero. Like, he was a last-minute scratch because of a cold or an illness. So not having our top scorer, I thought we were going to get killed. I thought we were going to lose by 30 on the road. And the reason I thought we were going to lose is because the Heat have only won 3 out of the last 8 games or so. And in the last 5, or excuse me, in 5 of the last 6 losses, the Miami Heat have given up a 4th quarter lead and have lost 5 of the last 6 games in that fashion. So I thought we were going to get our butts whooped by the Cavs. But it's like any given Sunday, they say in football. Like, that kind of applies in basketball, especially when you're not the Washington Wizards or the Pelicans in the Western Conference. Like, when you're not a bottom feeder team, if you're like a team that's like 6 through 12 seeding, you could compete on a night-to-night basis in a game versus a Celtics, a Knicks, a Cavs. And He'd have shown that we've been able to do that. We just have not been able to close. And this game, we had those 3 guys out that I mentioned. Jaquez has been out now for the past 3 or 4 games with an ankle injury, which has been rough, but he's been having a rough season anyway. So I don't know how much we're truly missing him. Niko Jovic, we are missing him a lot. Not a lot, but kind of. I mean, he's 6'11". He can dribble and penetrate and play make to a certain degree off the bench. Unlike anybody else at his size on this team, besides maybe Bam Adebayo, he was shooting the three ball at a pretty good clip, and he broke his hand. He's probably out for the whole season now. So important to have depth, and we don't have that depth. So it's understandable that we lost to the Cavs, but we were freaking playing hard. Bam Adebayo was having a really good game last night, and he's been stepping it up too. So we'll get to him a little bit later, but it was mostly Bam Adebayo on the bench. So Duncan Robinson played really well. Haywood Highsmith played well off the bench. Kyle Anderson was amazing off the bench in his 26 minutes, even though he was only 3 for 8 from the field and scored 7 points. He still contributed all around. He had 11 rebounds, 7 assists with those 7 points. So he was solid. And Terry Rozier played the most minutes last game, 40 minutes. Bam Adebayo played 38. Bam Adebayo was going toe-to-toe with Evan Mobley and Jared Allen and Donovan Mitchell and scored 34 points on 11 for 18 shooting. So super efficient. Amazing game for Bam. 34 points, 12 boards, 5 assists. He was not only getting the rebounds, obviously scoring at will against a tough top 7 defense. The Cavs are a top 7 defense in terms of defensive rating. And he hit 3 for 5 from 3, which was a good sign. 9 for 9 from the free throw line. Like, that's amazing. That's great to see. He also had 2 steals, only 2 turnovers. And Terry Rozier blew this game for him. So let me read some comments real quick. So we got the rant guy. Easy says Terry is worse than Lowry. Oh, are you freaking kidding me? Without question, he's worse than Lowry. We got Van Lee. What's up, Van Lee? Hope you're doing well, man. Van Lee says, we are literally stuck in the play-in. Why isn't Isaiah Stevens getting run? If Detroit goes 500, we have no chance at 6. Yeah, they have like 21 games left, and they don't have the most difficult schedule, and it's going to be rough. I don't think we'll catch them, Van. Obviously, they're 35-28 right now, so they are 5 games ahead of the Miami Heat. We can't string together more than 2 wins. Like, I don't understand like how people think we can move and get better than the 7th seed, because we can't. We need to stop blaming Rozier and start blaming Spo for playing him. Yes, well, we did blame both of them, honestly, but I agree with you. So I don't understand how on earth Terry Rozier played 40 minutes and Bam played 38 in a game where Bam Adebayo was dominating on both ends of the floor. He played less minutes than Terry Rozier. Why is Bam not playing 44 minutes? He's 27 years old. Like, yes, we don't need this victory again because we can't really tank unless they blatantly shut down Bam and Tyler and we lose the next 21 games that we have left. Then sure. But we're not going to get past the Chicago Bulls in terms of a worse record. It's going to be hard because these younger teams are also tanking. So I could see why Spo played Terry in general because we were shorthanded. But why do you play him 40 minutes when he is horrendous? Why? And I'll bring up Van Lee's point in a second about Isaiah Stevens, but you have Davion Mitchell, who's the starting point guard, play 26 minutes. Yes, he was hurt a couple games ago or whatever, but it doesn't matter. You're healthy. You're on the floor. You're playing. He didn't look like he had an injury. You put him out there and you play him over Terry freaking Rozier. Terry Rozier had 40 minutes. He had 26. That is outlandish right there. That makes 0 sense. And Mitchell was freaking solid. He got 9 points on 5 attempts. Terry got 12 points on 14 attempts. So why are we not playing why are we not playing Mitchell? Like, Davion is so much better defensively. He's not a liability, and he's not going to take stupid shots. He's going to obviously be our floor general, and he's going to help get everybody in their right spots. He was solid last night, yet Terry Rozier got the extended minutes. Quantum Vortex says, this team is so injured right now. Yes, we definitely are. Van Lee says, when since Wiggins gets injured this often, he's an Iron Man. That's what I was questioning too. I don't understand what happened to Wiggins and why he's missed so many games. I don't even remember him getting hurt. Martel's in the house. What's up, Martel? Hope you're doing well. Martel also said Josh Christopher a bigger defensive guard. I don't know why he's not getting any run, especially when we're depleted. Josh Christopher's not defensive, Martel. Yeah, he's not. He's a better scorer. He's not a liability like Terry Rozier on defense, but he's not known for his defense. If he was known for his defense, he would have an opportunity as a guy who was a former, what was he, first round pick? I don't remember where he got picked. Um, but yeah, he's a shot creator. Exactly. He's a good streaky microwave type of scorer. Maybe like a Nick Young kind of guy. Obviously, Nick Young was actually in the league. So Nick Young, no offense to you, but he is kind of like a Nick Young type of player. But anyway, 40 minutes for Terry last night. 3 for 14. 3 for 14 from the field. Didn't make a single shot in the second half. Not a single shot. 1 for 8 from three. That's 12 freaking percent from three. 5 for 5 from the line. 4 turnovers. Some of those turnovers that he had last night looked like he was point shaving, and the FBI should go back and investigate Terry Rozier because that same mafia that is paying him to lose on purpose is paying him now because 2 of those 4 turnovers were horrendous. If you guys remember, he is just awful. And I don't understand how he's fallen off such a cliff this season. He's averaging 11.8 points. That is Terry Rozier's lowest since 2018 when he was 24 years old on the Boston Celtics, averaging 9 points per game. His 3-point shooting is 29%. The last time Terry Rozier shot in the 20s was his rookie year in 2015. He shot 22% from the field, shooting 29 now. He's shooting 39% from the field from two. The last time he shot 30% was again that Boston Celtics season in 2018 when he was 24 years old, averaging 9 points a game. I don't understand why he is literally in the rotation. And shout out to Martel. We have an episode that we're going to be doing later tonight. So we'll do it at 9:30 Eastern. I'm in the West Coast, so it's 6:30 my time. We got Will Manso, who's going to be on the podcast, I think, for the third time. So Will Manso, we appreciate you for all that you do, and we're excited to chat with you tonight. So thanks for pointing that out, Martel. Van Lee says, praying Indiana gets home court for the 4 to 5 seeds versus Bucks. They beat the Bucks last year with no home court. I want Trey, KD, Job, LaMelo, and Giannis all disgruntled this summer. We have to land somebody. Yes, that's a good point. But also, Giannis was hurt last year. Don't forget that. Dame also got hurt. And Middleton was their only player that they had. So the Indiana Pacers do not beat the Bucks with a healthy Giannis. Sorry about that, man. I don't think that's going to happen. Not a chance, especially if Dame and Giannis are healthy now that they added Kyle Kuzma in the mix. Brook Lopez has been playing solid. Shout out to Brook Lopez from Fresno. He's been playing solid as well of late. So we'll see. But anyway, Van Lee brought up a good point earlier. So it's not just Terry Rozier's fault. How can you play him 40 minutes in general, but how can you continuously play him in the rotation? And Spo's had a really bad season. Like, I'm not going to say fire Spo. Who else is out there? He's still one of the best coaches in the NBA. Not this season. Not this season. Last season, he was also kind of bad as well and wasn't that great. And it wasn't just him. It's obviously his players and his team and his other coaching staff. But still, he is currently not the best coach in the NBA. He is struggling, but I'm not delusional. He's still one of the best coaches in the NBA. Who else are we going to freaking sign? Vogel? Who do you want? Do you want Doc Rivers? Like, who do you want? Do you want Chris Quinn to come off the bench? Like, there's no one out there, no other prospect that could replace Eric Spoelstra. But anyway, Rust, what's going on? I'll take Tony Douglas right now over Terry. I'll take anybody over Terry. So anyway, right now with Eric Spoelstra and their current struggles, obviously there's a built-in excuse with Jimmy Butler getting suspended, requesting a trade, not being on the team anymore. But still, let's start with the obvious. We have no Jimmy Butler. That's a big issue. We've also had issues that we've seen on both ends of the floor. The offense has looked disorganized. The defense isn't as sharp as last year. And most importantly, Spoelstra doesn't have the answers right now. Like, he's not improving this team. And so I can see why people are criticizing Eric Spoelstra. In terms of this offense, like, it's actually better in terms of offensive rating and points per game. Actually, no, we're actually worse in points per game this season. But this season, in terms of offensive rating, the Miami Heat are 17th. Okay. Last season, we were 21. So we have improved technically in our offensive rating, even in this crazy year without Jimmy Butler and also now with all these injuries. Defensive rating, Miami Heat's bread and butter and their identity has always been based around the defense. That has been slipping of late this season. And last year, we were five. We were top five in defensive rating. This year, with this roster, we are slipping. And Khalil Ware has helped us with some rim protection, but not enough. He's also a rookie, and he doesn't have that like weight. He has the height. He doesn't have that size to actually protect the rim like we need him to and to stop bigger centers. But anyway, we're 12th in defensive rating. So we went from 5th to 12th. And that's a big sign of why we're blowing these leads. Yes, it's offense at times where we've scored 86 points, 85 and 85 three times in 1 week a few weeks ago. That was freaking disgusting in this modern NBA to do that. But there's other times, like last night, we were able to score 107 and we only scored like one basket in the final 6 minutes of that fourth quarter. In the last 4:30, I believe, the Miami Heat didn't score a bucket. So yeah, the Heat scored 2 points over the final 4 minutes and 13 seconds. Yes, we're shorthanded, but we were up by 8, 9 points in that fourth quarter, and we just completely blew it. And that's not all on Spo, but part of it is because of his rotations, which we'll get into, and playing Terry Rozier yesterday. But either way, one of Spo's strengths, we'll get into the adjustments, has been his ability to make the most out of his roster, no matter who's available. But this season, that hasn't been the case. We've had G Leaguers up and down this roster, and Spo has always been able to get the best out of his roster. He's not doing that this year. So is that on him fully, or is it on the execution of the players? I think it's a combination. We've seen head scratching lineups with him, obviously, like waiting too long in fourth quarters to put Tyler and Bam back in. Not just this game, but in general. He has had his starters out way too long. We start the fourth quarter with Terry Rozier and some other players blowing leads. The Heat have the second most double-digit blown leads in the second half this season, only behind the Utah Jazz, who are a freaking terrible lottery team. So it's defense. Like, he's slipping on his defense. Obviously, the substitution patterns as well have been off, and certain guys are getting way 2 minutes on the floor, while guys like Pella Larson has barely seen the floor. Like guys like Isaiah Stevens, who at this point, when half your team is out, doesn't even get a single minute when Terry Rozier is just literally losing you the game by going 1 for 8 from three, 4 turnovers. We can't get a true point guard to get at least 10 minutes. You give Terry 40 freaking minutes. You don't give Isaiah Stevens any minutes. You could have given Terry 25 minutes, okay, which still is a lot in my opinion. But those 15 minutes could have been distributed to 5 more minutes, 5 minutes to Stevens, 10 more minutes to Davion Mitchell. Give Davion Mitchell, give him 36. Why is Davion playing 26 minutes? I don't understand it. So those are some bad things that Spo's done. It's almost like Spo doesn't trust himself or his players at times. But yeah, it's been confusing why Spo's been so bad. Like, Miami's offense is a mess. We're 24th in points per game. We average 110 per game. Like, that's not good. There's times where we do have good ball movement, but there's times where we have too much isolation basketball. There's no like hierarchy outside of who's going to score outside of Tyler and Bam, honestly. Like, Wiggins has been that guy, but he's been hurt. So that's been an issue. Terry was supposed to be a big addition. He's been so inefficient this season, and he has just been one of the worst trades probably for the Miami Heat. Another thing with Spoelstra's in-game adjustments, they're not there this season. In the past, Spo is one of the best at making second half adjustments based on what the other coaches have planned and designed. And he has found ways to win games for the Miami Heat when they weren't at full strength. So I don't understand why that has happened. Let me read some comments real quick. Family, 40 minutes is ECF. We can't afford not to have this guy on the court minutes. Yep. Family also says, I like the Utah coach, but he's under any age. Tree would never coach Miami. John Kennedy, hope you're doing well. I don't know why Ware hasn't played. He's actually hurt. So I think he's actually hurt, John. In that game, which game was it where Spo didn't play Khalil Ware in the fourth quarter? Recently. Let me know in the chat. Van, do you remember that game? The game he got hurt. It was against the Knicks when we're up by 19. Mitchell Robinson fell into his leg. So apparently he has a knee injury. And so he's missed 2 games now, I think, since we played the Knicks. So I think they're just being cautious. They did an MRI and they said there was no structural damage or any issue. So I think they're just being precautious and giving him some time off. But either way, going back to Spoelstra, Miami's defense has been their backbone. Like I said, they're falling off on the defensive end, going from 5th in defensive rating to 12th. And they've always found ways to get stops. They've always found ways in terms of team-oriented rotational defense on the perimeter specifically. Interior defense, still shit. With Khalil Ware, they're still 30th. They're dead last in blocks per game. Like, they have no rim protection at all. But I don't know what's gone wrong. No Jimmy Butler, like, obviously that's impacted the defense to a certain degree when he tries. Like, he's playing great defense with the Warriors. He obviously quit on the Miami Heat, as you saw in those final 2 games he played before the final suspension. But not having him as a point of attack defender, Caleb Martin is not on the team anymore. Obviously, he was a really good, versatile two-way player, defender. Bam is just always having to do too much. But opposing teams have been getting easier shots. The Heat seem to be slower in their rotations, and there just doesn't seem to be that same intensity and hustle in that Heat culture. I don't think Heat culture is dead, like a lot of folks try to say that, but they're not like as passionate, it doesn't seem, on the defensive end. Quantum says only a few more months until Terry's contract becomes, next season. Terry Rozier is on an expiring contract, so maybe we can get off that and get a piece for that, or we just let him walk. Family says, what position is our weakest defensively? Well, now that Davion is in our backcourt, I would have said backcourt, because before Drew Smith came in and got hurt, we had Terry and Tyler. That's our weakest area right there. And then we had Duncan, coming in for Terry. So Terry, any combination of Tyler, Terry, Duncan, between any of those 3, that's like the weakest area, because Bam can cover the paint. He can also, he's a free safety now that Ware is rim protecting, right? And he's in that dunker spot. So even though our blocks per game are not that great, I think it's got to be, I don't know, because Davion plugs that hole now. But it's probably still our backcourt with Tyler Hero. I don't know. What do you guys think? Mason says, what's up? What's up, Mason? Hope you're doing well. John says, Duncan's defense. Yeah, like, it's Duncan's defense. It's Terry's defense. Tyler's a lot better on defense, but still, he's not getting hunted like he did last year. But shooting guard is probably one of our areas. I would say shooting guard is the weakest defensively. Yeah, if you want to consider Tyler and Duncan the white guys, basically, that's probably the areas that are kind of the weakest. So anyway, I want to switch gears to talk about some positive stuff. So let's talk about Bam Adebayo. Bam Adebayo crushed it last night, but in general, Bam has been amazing since All-Star break. Like, dude has been putting in the work, and he started off really, really bad this season. In October, I know it was only a few games to start the season. He was only averaging 11 points, 7 rebounds, 3 assists. And then November, he picked that up, was averaging 17. And back in January, he fell off again. He was averaging 16 points, 15 points. But over the last 3 months or 2 months, he's been playing really good basketball, in the month of February, in 11 games, Bam averaged 21 points, 10 rebounds, 3.5 assists, and was shooting, what was he shooting from 3? 40% from 3 in those 11 games. He was hitting threes finally. And obviously March is just 6 days into March. He's averaging 27.7 points per game, 34-point game. Obviously plays a big factor, but 11 rebounds, almost 5 assists, 1.7 steals, and he's shooting 33% from 3. So post All-Star break in general, Bam is averaging 22.3 points, 9.3 assists. He is playing really good basketball. The biggest thing was his shooting percentages. He started off the year shooting 42%, which was freaking horrendous. And in the since post All-Star break, he's shooting 59% from the field. So this is the first time in Bam's career, I believe, that he's been shooting below 50%. So let me take a look at his field goal. Yep. So right now, overall, it's his stats are going up from the field, but Bam is shooting now almost 49% from the field. It was 42% for the beginning of the year, for the first few months. So yeah, he's never in his career shot below 51%. So that was huge. So Bam has been stepping it up. And the other thing that I think is impressive with Bam, not many guys average 20 and 10. So people were saying that Bam is not worth a max contract on Twitter. And I thought those people were freaking delusional. Yes, again, Bam was having a off season, and people were saying he's not even a top 30, 40 player, doesn't deserve a max. Like, you guys don't know shit about basketball if you think Bam Adebayo is not a max NBA player in today's day and age as a two-way player. One of the best defenders in all of the NBA, one of the top 5 defenders at worst, top 3 defender in the NBA, can guard 1 through 5, who can give you close to 19, 20 points per game for a guy who is the 14th pick of the league. He's not a top 3. He's not a top 5. He's not a top 10 prospect. He was raw and developed and grew into this. He's 27. He might not grow much farther, but he's still freaking amazing. You know how many people this season are averaging 20 and 10? Guess. Can you guys guess in the chat how many people are averaging 20 and 10? And Bam has done that basically twice in his career. How many? Let me know what you guys think. I'll give you the answer. So right now, only 5 players in the league are averaging 20 and 10. You know who they are? Giannis, Anthony Davis, the Joker, Carl Anthony Towns, and Victor Wembanyama. Okay? Towns, number 1 pick. Victor Wembanyama, number 1 pick. Giannis was a top 13 pick or whatever. Obviously, Giannis is what we would hope Bam could have achieved, because obviously he came out of nowhere. Anthony Davis, wasn't he the number 1 pick? Jokic, obviously another unicorn, second round pick anomaly, but still, you know how many guys are averaging? If you want to say that he's not averaging 20 and 10, he's averaging 19 and 10. There's only 8 guys averaging 19 and 10 this year. So the same guys I said, you have Vucevic on the Bulls averaging 19 and 10, and then you have Domantas Sabonis averaging 19 and 14. You have Sengun averaging 19 and 10, and if we round up, Bam is averaging, or he's done this in his career. Bam's not doing that this season, but Bam has done that 3 times basically in his career. So it is impressive. It's hard to freaking do. Van Lee says, Bam has been one of the best clutch players in the league, and Tyler has been one of the worst. Bam needs the ball more down the stretch. Yes, we definitely need Bam with the ball in his hands. That happened against the Knicks as well. What is this? Bartel says Melo and Trey are the 2 options. So yeah, let me ask you guys in the chat. Who would you guys rather have? Would you rather have Kevin Durant or Trey Young? Melo, they said there's reports that he could request a trade or be traded. But Trey Young, has already been in reports, and there's been speculation. They're obviously a tanking team, and they traded DeAndre Hunter. Who would you guys rather have? Would you guys rather have KD? Who would fit better, KD or Trey? Trey is way younger, but then you have Trey and Tyler as your backcourt, which is going to be really hard to do. I don't think you can pass with that. We'll see. So let me know in the chat. Quantum says Bam is a true 4, and we all knew it. Yes, I agree. Jay Castellanos, what's up, man? Hope you're doing well. He said 8. Yeah, good guess. He also says KD. I don't know who I would rather have, honestly. Van Lee, what do you think? Trading Tyler for LaMelo is such a market opportunity. They have virtually the same fan base demographic. The franchise won't lose there. LaMelo raises our ceiling in aggregate size. Melo can close. I just don't see this getting LaMelo Ball. I don't know if they would trade him Honestly, I think Trey is more attainable. Um, Quantum Vortex says, I don't want Trey. I don't love Trey either, man. Like, he's such a liability defensively, but his playmaking with Bam Adebayo, just to see what happens over the next couple years, dude, Bam Adebayo would be a superstar if he had Trey Young on his team. Like, look what Steve Nash did to Amari Stoudemire. Amari Stoudemire was a dope ass player. He was an all star, but literally, Steve Nash made Amari such a better player. Amari didn't do nearly as much on the Knicks without Steve Nash. So Trey could be that for Bam Adebayo. Big Sai, I'm proud of you, Amir. Spo is boo boo and needs to be called out. Were you here, Big Sai, for my whole spiel around him and his issues with fucking Terry and rotations and adjustments and defense and offense? Like, he's been bad. I'm gonna say it. Like, I'm not gonna say fire him still, my friend, but he's been pretty damn bad this season. Trey on Miami would be awesome. I agree. Yes and no. Like, yes, for what we have, yes. Like, we need talent. We need star power. Trey is averaging what, 20 freaking 3 points and 11, 12 assists per game? Like, are you kidding me? We need an elite point guard. And again, Trey, if we can somehow get Trey with Bam and Ware on the team still, you probably have to trade Hero. Or if you could still somehow keep all four of those guys, you trade Jovic, Hawkes, Wiggins, picks. Like, I would do that. If we can have Tyler, Trey, Bam, and Ware moving into the future, that could be interesting. It'll be more fun than what we have right now. Van Lee says, fun fact about the Hawks, they don't get blown out like that. They hang around a lot of games, but just don't have the talent. Yeah, what was his name? Jalen Johnson, out for the season. That was a huge loss. Big Size says 25 points per game in the league and assists is not normal. Trey is like that. Yeah, man, he is special, but I just don't like him. I hate him, honestly, but I'm open to having him on the team. LaMelo, Bam, Ware is a big core. I like it. Yeah, but LaMelo is just more injury prone compared to Trey. I'd rather have Trey. I think he's more durable than LaMelo. Big Size says Tyler doesn't play defense and he leads the league in nothing. His defense has gotten better, but yes, he's not a very good defender. Question on Melo Tyler trade with contracts considered. Who has to send picks? Melo is completely unproven. Tyler is completely unproven. What has Tyler proven? This is his first season where he's been healthy. Like, he's only missed 3 games, but there's still 21 games for Tyler to possibly miss. I know he's not going to miss them, but kudos to Tyler, man. Shout out to Tyler for stepping up. But I mean, Melo's younger, he's bigger. I don't know. I don't know what that trade package would look like. Big Sai, I'll take Trey every day of the week. For the fact that Trey kills the Knicks, I take him in a heartbeat. I love that. I freaking hate the Knicks more than any other team almost. Well, maybe I don't know. Who do you guys hate more? Celtics or Knicks? I hate the Lakers more than any team in the sport, but in terms of the East, I think I still, because I'm a 90s kid and became a Heat fan in 1998, so I think I still hate the Knicks more than the Celtics. I hate the Celtics more because they're more relevant as a rival lately, I guess, but overall, I think I hate the Celtics less than the Knicks. Melo has never played in the playoffs. That's what I'm saying. Yep, that's true. JC says both suck. Chalk chuckers. I don't know. Trey has won playoff series. Tyler has won the 3-point contest. Yeah, Trey took his team to the Eastern Conference Finals that one year, so can't discount that as nothing. Quantum says he hates the Celtics the most. Big Size says Trey over Tyler, of course. Like, I don't. All right, chat. What do you guys think? Tyler or Trey? Who's better? That's a good question. Vanley, LeVar going to go on ESPN and say we need to fire Spo if we get Melo. He wants to be the coach. He wants to be the coach. All right, guys. So the Heat have 21 more games left this season. What do you think the Miami Heat's record is going to be in those 21 games? Do you think, and also, how do you think the Miami Heat are going to end? Are we going to end in the 7th seed or the 8th seed? Do you think the Magic have an opportunity to leapfrog us? We're only a game ahead of the Magic now after last night's freaking stupid loss. But I think we're gonna finish 7 or 8. Damn, Van Lee, you think they're gonna be 15-6? Okay. I'll tell you why we won't. Sai says we'll go 9-12. I think we're gonna go like 10 and 11, I think, somewhere around Big Si says. Um, Here's the thing, Van. Yes, we play Philly and Charlotte twice, but 11 of the 21 games that we're playing are against teams above 500. You know what that means? You know what that means? That means we're going to lose freaking 70% of those games. So I think of those 11 games, we're going to play Boston, the T Wolves, the Knicks, the Grizzlies twice, I think. Um, 11 of those games are against teams that are 500 and above, right? We are 9 and 22 this season against teams that are 500 and above, meaning we freaking suck dick against teams that are good. And it's not even the best teams. Even if a team is one game above 500, then we still lose to that team. So 9 and 22 is a 40% win percentage. So, yeah, so we have 11 of our games left. So, yeah, so I think we're going to win four. I think we're gonna go 4-7 against those 500 and above teams, and then we have 10 games against teams that are 500 or below. We can win maybe 7 out of 10. So that's 11. I think we're gonna go maybe 11 and 10 at best. Oh, we got my boy Nino in the house. End up in the play-in, keep the pick, and try to make a run for it. Yeah, I mean, that's another thing too. A lot of the Heat fans here want the Miami Heat to lose in the play-in, and because there's no way we're going to be out of the play-in tournament, but we can miss the playoffs by losing the play-in. And if we lose the play-in and don't make the playoffs, one, we get our draft pick back from the Thunder. So we'll get two picks, one from the Thunder, and that will be probably somewhere in like the 11th through 13 range, and then we'll get the Warriors pick. But the Warriors keep winning, as my buddy Nino's here, this bastard over here. He's a Warriors fan. The Warriors are 8-1 since they've got Jimmy or whatever the hell it is. That pick is top 10 protected. The Warriors are not going to lose that pick, so we'll probably get like an 18th pick or 19th pick from the Warriors. So we'll have two picks, and I probably should trade them to get another player, or trade both of them to get up into the top five, because it's going to be one of the best drafts. Big size Spo now below 500 since the big three and the Jimmy Butler eras. He won't be over 500. Minus, okay. Vanley says this team is mid. It's so painful. Yep, I agree. Vanley says not even excited about the draft because we're not getting those two picks. What do you mean we're not getting those two picks? We're still going to get those picks. We'll get, one pick from the Warriors for sure. Exactly, Van. We all know why. Warriors are stuck at 6, can't go higher. Okay, so if they're not going to go higher, we'll still get their pick at like 17, 18 or whatever it is. So we'll have one guaranteed pick during this draft, maybe two if we don't make the plan. But anyway, that's all I have for this live episode. Thank you for joining. Thank you for all the comments, and I will be back tonight. Don't forget, guys, we do have another episode. Like I said, we have Will Manso, who's going to be joining the show tonight, obviously. So Will Manso from Bally Sports, you obviously see him at every single Miami Heat game. So yeah, we'll have an interview with Will Manso tonight. And we also are going to have hopefully a couple special guests next week for you guys. So this is hopefully going to blow up. We might do a live, not entirely sure. But yeah, Martel, Trent, and I have something up our sleeve for you guys. So I appreciate the time. I'll see you guys soon.